What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on this situation with what's this young lady named Daphne Joy, 50 Cent, and Academics, right? I came across this video by this young lady. What's her name? Her name is Lakeisha Keisha, right? And she spoke. She did a video and reacting to Daphne Joy having an interview with Academics, right? And so I watched it, and after I watched it, I decided that I wanted to do a reaction to this video, right? My reaction to her reaction. So now, shout out to that Lakeisha Keisha. She did a real good job, in my opinion, and she brought up some interesting points, right? And made some interesting points. But I just wanted to you know, like also react to the situation and give my input. First of all, when you are somebody, a man or a woman who have money like 50 Cent and Academics to you attract women like Daphne Joy, right? And these women, they just want to live a soft life. So they see you as a lottery ticket and they just want to come into your life without adding any value besides the fact that they are attractive, and they think that that's all they have to bring. And so if you allow these women to stay in your space, they can't really do anything for you except to take you down. And it's evident that it's even also evident, like once 50 Cent separated from this young lady and they have a kid, she's doing everything in her power to embarrass him and to bring shame to him. Not even caring, like she don't care about like what the effect is going to have on her son, their kid. It just don't matter. And so when you bring Academics into the picture, he think that he's doing something by offering her money to be with her, right? Not knowing that that it's affecting him and it's having a negative effect on him, and it's, and it's going to bring him down. So I'm going to point this out as I go through this video, but I just wanted to start there. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to, like I said, react to this young lady's video and also feed off of some of her comments and add my input onto what she had to say about this situation.
It was the girls that was doing it. But let y'all know who Daphne Joy is. Daphne Joy is 50 Cent slutted out baby mama. Okay. That's who she is. She testified in the trial as Jane Doe because she didn't want people to know who her name was, and we know who you are, ho. Okay. But what she testified is that he pressured her and coerced her into participating in these prolonged sex encounters with male escorts, sometimes called hotel nights and freak offs, and that he used financial support, um, basically paying her rent and things like that to leverage her for doing these things. She also said that she felt that if she didn't do it, he would not provide for her. He didn't.
All right, so let me stop it right there real quick, right? So she says she's trying to make herself out to be a victim, like she was forced into put in a position where as though she had to perform these acts, and or else he wouldn't provide for her financially. And see, that's where I wanted to comment also, because some women act like like going into the sex trade is the only option that they have, right? And I always say that in some cases, well, in a lot of cases, beauty is not a gift, it's a curse, because it's like low hanging fruit, and some women feel like that's the only thing that they that they can fall back on, that, or that's the first thing that they want to do is to fall back on that, instead of building their learning a trade or building themselves up in a way that is going to benefit herself and her kid. Remember, she has a kid that she is responsible for taking care of. And the first thing that she thinks to do is to go into put herself in a situation where she has to perform sexually in order for this man to take care of her. And so that's her first downfall right there, is thinking that everything comes easy and thinking that sex is, like it's easy. Like in the short run, to be in the sex industry, it might pay off, but in the long run, I think it's going to cause a lot of issues between her and her kid, and then she's going to have some emotional issues later on down the track when it comes to like regret and things like that.
Have to provide for this lady. You got a whole baby daddy. His name is 50 Cent. He should be providing for you. Well, she stated that pretty much Diddy made her do all these things. This is what the lady said. And listen, as I stated before, people like her take away from real victims, okay? Because I said from the beginning, the lady was never a victim. She also testified that they had a fight, but we learned that, girl, you had started the fight. You had ran up and hit him and did all these crazy stuff to this man, okay? Not saying he's innocent, but you have to judge people for what they did and not what they didn't do. People can hate Diddy and don't even know him, based on what they heard, but then don't like him for what he did, not because a hoe is mad and want to accuse him of something that he did.
Not only she can do this and say that she's mad, but she can also do this and not accept responsibility for her own actions, right? And that's what, to me, that's the biggest issue right there, not accepting responsibility for her own actions. She can go through life saying that she was forced into this, they made her do this, and even later on when she have, like, if her son was to approach her and ask her, why did you choose this lifestyle, or why did you live like this, she could say that she didn't, that's what something that she'll fall back on. I didn't have a choice, I did what I thought I had to do at the time, and play that the victim card. So that's what a lot of women try to fall back on, is playing that victim card.
Do. Now listen to this, y'all. Now, despite her, well, let's kind of get into it. We know that 50 Cent, her baby daddy, the one that, him and Diddy don't like each other, but it really seemed like he don't like Diddy, okay? But he pretty much came out and said that, that she's a harlot. Is pretty much what he said. Remember this video?
There's none of that. That ain't got nothing to do with none of the parties. A lot of safe stuff. There's none of that. That ain't got nothing to do with none of the parties. What you're looking at that right now is separate. It feel like it's special because it's my son's mom in the actual day. But we haven't had any intimacy for 12 years. She could be out back with a dog for all I care. To be honest with you, and she's the only person that we didn't get into the documentary that I wish we did, because it would be the person that's there that wasn't a victim.
That wasn't a victim?
No. See, when you think of women, we go women empowerment for women, but let's not forget that there's some hoes. Right? No, let's just realize that's there. This exists. Come on, so there's people that are there and they're looking for these things. They look for that. So she's just.
All right, let me stop it right there, right? Because she's going to repeat it, but he said that you have to. He said he don't care what she is doing. She could be out back with a dog for all he cared, right? And he also said, let's not forget that there are some hoes, right? And so my only issue with this is, I think that if you have a kid by a woman, no matter what you think about her, you need to be very careful of what you say about her publicly, right? And I think even if you don't have a kid and she's your ex and you find out that she is not, y'all don't work out, and you find out that morally she is not somebody who you think that finds out that you can be with, then you still have to be careful how you speak of her, right? Because this is a woman that you picked. And so she is still a reflection of you, and talking bad about her is just like, is like talking bad about yourself, because people say, well, you chose her, right? And so if I was 50 Cent, I wouldn't have anything negative to say about her, at least, especially not publicly. I wouldn't be calling her, a 304 or anything like that, because, like I said, he got a son, with her. So she was, for at least some period of time, she was good enough to have a kid with, right? And or lay down with. So you don't want to, like I said, if it turns out that she is somebody that you don't want to be with, or y'all can't make it because y'all, morally, you think it turned out that she's not up to your standards, then you just got to go, about your way and take that on the chin. Remember, like, there have been situations where men have been with women, and then the woman will do something, like, for instance, like there was a woman who slept with a kid, one of her students. She was a teacher and slept with her student. That's very embarrassing for the man, right? But if he separated from her, he didn't say anything publicly, he just separated. It's embarrassing. You got to take it on the chin, but also you have to remember that you got kids that you have to worry about, and you can't say anything publicly about her, because that's also a reflection of you. You just gotta allow her to, let all of that weight, or all her mistakes that she made, let that fall on her.
So basically what he said is there's some hoes. Now it'd be so interesting how women, and it's not all women, but a lot of y'all don't take responsibility for shit. I mean, I'm just being real. Like, I really used to think it was the men. I really did. As I've come onto social media, y'all are equally messed up with these men. Like, y'all be lying. If y'all see something wrong, you just go with it because it's a woman. But then you blame the men. The women in the crowd is saying, oh, that's your baby mom. So he's supposed to just go along with her being a hoe because that's.
No, I mean, I don't think that he's supposed to go along with her being a 304 at all, right? But the women in the crowd may have been trying to tell him, like, that is your baby's mother. So, let her actions prove that, that she's a 304. Don't call her that. Like I said, because the son, their kids may have resentment about that, you calling her that publicly. So that might have an effect on the relationship that he had with her. When he talked to his son about it, he just has to, be honest and say, look, your mother made some mistakes. Her lifestyle is not a lifestyle that I approve of, and just leave it at that. Don't talk bad about her, because she do enough damage to you. You don't even have to do any damage to her reputation. She going to do that herself. And so don't put any obstacles in your way, or any barriers in your way that's going to affect you and your kid.
His baby mom. I mean, what do you all want? You're damned if he do, damned if he don't. So he's supposed to be like, okay, she a hoe, but because she my baby mom. No, what he said is she was the only one who didn't make it on the documentary that actually was not a victim. Now, this is what he said. And the women are like, oh, be nice. Don't say that. Why won't she be nice? I mean, she's out here, and wait till y'all listen to this video that I'm going to show you up next. She's out here shaking her her wobbly, nasty behind, got a son, okay, and then doing more things that just making her look like a hoe. This lady has a son, but the women will always say, oh, it's okay, but wonder why you can't find a man that take you seriously. Like, let's just make it make sense. The women would talk about how effed up the man is, but never look at what they do and why they can't find a man to commit to them.
All right, like I said, Daphne Joy is just doing so much herself that she's doing actually more damage to her own self and to her reputation. She's doing more damage to the relationship between herself and her son than anything that 50 Cent can do. So that's why I say it's not even necessary for 50 Cent to come out and to talk bad about her. because she's doing it. You know, she's showing that, and he don't have to say anything.
Okay, man, there's a lot of tapes out there. None of that ain't got nothing to do with none of the parties. What you're looking at right now is separate. They feel like it's special because it's my son's mom in the actual day. But we haven't had any intimacy for 12 years. She could be out back with a dog for all I care.
We haven't had any intimacy in 12 years. He said she can be out back with a dog. So basically, too, you guys got to understand that there is something between him and Diddy. I guess he don't like Diddy. And I would assume his baby mama knew that. So obviously she has no, when it comes to dating, but girl, why you go mess around with your baby daddy's enemy? Like you, yeah, that was a little weird.
No, and see, that's what I'm saying. So she did that on purpose. She know that Diddy and 50 Cent don't get along. There's some animosity there between those two, right? Again, that's where you want to, you want to maintain your cool, right? Because if you look at the situation with 50 Cent was hanging out with what's the other guy, the other rapper name, with Rick Ross baby mother, right? You can't control or react to situations like that. And so 50 Cent, he had the shoe was on the other foot. He's up there messing with Rick Ross baby mother. And Rick Ross baby mother, know that 50 Cent don't get along with her ex. So she's using that. I wouldn't even acknowledge that. You just got to take it on the chin and just allow her to play herself. Don't let her. That's just like a woman trying to make you jealous, saying that I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna sleep with all these different men. Like if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do that. Cool. You more so hurting yourself. Women think that they can get back at you by sleeping with somebody else or sleeping with a whole bunch of different other men. All you doing is just dissolving this relationship. Go ahead and do that. I wouldn't fall for it.
Honest with you, and she's the only person that we didn't get into the documentary that I wish we did, because it would be the person that's there that wasn't a victim.
That wasn't a victim.
No. See, when you think of women, we go women empowerment for women, but let's not forget that there's some hoes. Right.
And so, all right, so and 50 Cent said, when you think about women and women empowerment, some women think that like their power comes from sex, like being able to attract men and get approval from men, like that's their power. And they rely on that, and then they find out in the long run like it's a myth. Like you only get when a woman just relies on her sexuality to get things and to get money and gifts and stuff from men, you're just being used. And then as soon as you are no longer able to, or you don't look as good as you did, you get older, then all that stuff go away. And the only thing that don't go away is the mileage that you has put on yourself from being with all these different people, right? And so that's what, in the long run, it always come back to haunt them.
Oh, let's just realize that's there. This is exist. Come on, so there's people that are there and they're looking for these things. Like they look for that. So she's just giving what she actually would. If you met it at the present moment, check out the OnlyFans, man. It's up.
They say, "Oh, he just saying check out her OnlyFans." She's on OnlyFans, so they're like, "Oh, it's her. She created and she's on OnlyFans. She's selling what she's selling." He's basically saying she's doing what it is she wants to do. Check her out on OnlyFans, and you hear the women like, "Oh, like he said something wrong." She put herself on OnlyFans.
85%.
Oh, well, let's talk about that.
And so she do have an OnlyFans, right? And some women think that like that's empowerment, you know. But like I said, like OnlyFans is just temporary. You know, and every day you have thousands or hundreds, probably or thousands more women just try to get on there. Um, and the competition every day, you get older every day, and then you get more competition every day. And in the long run, you're gonna have to, you know, they're gonna have to do like some to stay popular on that type of platform. You just got to be really, really out there and probably do some crazy stuff, right? So it is really probably they're gonna find out in the long run it's really not worth it being on a site like that, a site like that.
85%.
Oh, well, let's talk
That's
about
currently
that.
works, so she's achieving what she's after, trust me.
I just want to say,
Even what she, a lot of things.
What he's saying is she's achieving everything that she's after. He has said that this woman is a hoe, is what he's saying. And this is what she wants to be. So this is what he's saying. Now, he said that, and of course, she couldn't respond with words or, I mean, a tweet or, you know, you ain't have to respond, but she did. Let's get into what she did. Woo, we can't make this up. Child, she's stiffer than a board. Look at this. A grown woman with a son, and this is what she's doing on social media. She doesn't care about her son and what his classmates or friends is going to say about his mama. This is what she's doing. So after 50 Cent said, hey, she's achieving everything she, you know, she set out to achieve, she responded to a man that you ain't even with, that don't seem like they give about you either. And this is how you respond to him. But you also responded to your son because he gonna see this and so is all of his friends. Well, listen, y'all.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, right? When you run into a person that's not intelligent and this is their reaction and this is all they have to offer, you really can't, like, how do you argue with something like that? Like I said, she's doing more damage to herself than anything 50 Cent can say about her, right? And so it's not even necessary. And that's her response to him. Like Lakeisha said, you know, she don't even take into effect or even care that she has a son, his friends and how his friends are, you know, going to react to this when they see it. She don't even care about that kind of stuff, right? And so what 50 Cent and you can tell, you know, from his response that he kind of bitter about the situation too. But still, the best thing is not to respond, allow her to continue to make a fool of herself and destroy her relationship with her son. And all 50 Cent really have to do is just to be there to support his son, basically, you know, because she's the one who's destroying that relationship.
This is where it even gets crazier because I said 50 Cent called it. He was right about this because he said she wasn't nothing but a harlot. And I try to tell y'all, I said this lady is lying because you can't say someone forced you to do something when they are wiring you money, sending you this, or you could have took the money and ran off. In fact, y'all didn't even live in the same house. This man is giving you 10, 15, 20. You're getting the money from him. So you're doing it to keep the money going. So essentially, I mean, now that what they're saying about him, it seemed like this is what he did to satisfy y'all, but you was willing to do it, man, and you're still willing to do it because this is what you do.
You know what I found amazing too is like some women would prefer to make $10,000 or $15,000 or whatever she make, you know, going on these dates. They would prefer to make all their money up front, right? While, like I said, while she's still very attractive and while she's still young, you know, she's going to make, I don't know how much money. She's going to make a lot of money. But no way in the world would she want to marry or be in a relationship with a guy who's just middle class, who is like along the way is going to be able to, they can build a life together. She's like, that wouldn't be good enough for her. She want to be what she think is live the lavish life and live the soft life. And then later on, you know, after she is not, as attractive and young no more. She won't be able to make that money, and she won't be able to circle the block and go back and get somebody who's a regular blue collar type worker, somebody who's built a stable life, a stable life and a stable home. She's throwing all that away for this fast money, and she's going to regret it later on down the line.
Get into this right here, because this right here, I was like, it's really going on.
We could have this conversation. I really am.
Me too.
I was surprised that your people was even open to, like, I was like, oh, they must have not seen what the fuck I said. I'm like, no way.
Oh no,
I said she's taking a baseball bat. You know what I mean?
No, what stood out to me was you being like, listen, I don't usually pay for cat, but for this one.
Yeah. No, the offer is still on the table. I'm not lying to you.
She was amused because DJ Akademiks basically said that she had been all of these people. Now, I don't know why she would find that humorous, but DJ Akademiks said he don't pay for cat, but he would pay for hers. She found that amusing. But then as I thought about it, I said, okay, because she's selling cat. And if he tell her he gonna pay for it, she wants to link up with him because she want to get that money too. She found this amusing.
She was flattered, not just amused. She's flattered. Like I said, everything is based on, for her, everything is based on like how she looked. And so anytime she get some type of attention from a man, she's flattered by that, right? And then on top of that, a man who can afford to pay her, $10,000 or $15,000, just to be with her, she's flattered by that, right? And to her, $10,000 or $15,000 is a lot of money, and she's going to take that money, and do whatever it is she do with it, not really thinking about the long-term effects or the big picture when it comes to that money. Now let me just say this about like Akademiks, because he might think that $10,000 is not a lot of money either. He just had that kind of money too, right? But he still is cheating himself, because when you have these type of relationships as a man, instead of trying to find a good person that you're compatible with, you wasting your time and you wasting your money too for these type of cheap relationships, right? And so I don't know. I just think I think he's a goofball too, in my opinion. DJ Akademiks is just a goofball too.
Being honest with you.
No. It wasn't that. It was just that, like.
No, I'm dead ass though.
I just saw the look of love in your eyes. I saw the look of desire.
No, because you were.
I even you have to screenshot yourself. The look that you had, like you had your mouth open for me, and like honestly, that's a kink of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
She see him as a lick. She know that DJ Akademiks is very he's very well known on the on the YouTube platform. So she would love to be able to get her hooks into him and his money and run through him and his money. So he might be setting himself up for for a fall.
Yeah. The worshiping kink. And you being like this, like underneath, like,
this girl is a bird brain. I mean, what? I gotta rewind this, y'all.
No, I agree that she is not very intelligent at all. And I think that any woman who sells her body, not really, and not really thinking about like the long-term effects and ramifications from that, instead of developing herself, from the inside out, is just setting herself up for failure in the long term, right? I've seen just so many attractive women who did not invest in bettering themselves, and didn't get wiser as as the years went on, and their beauty fade, and then it's sad to see somebody who was so attractive when they were younger, and when they get older, they don't have anything to show for it because they didn't invest their time wisely. They didn't seek wisdom. Instead of, they just reach for the low-hanging fruit, and they invested everything into their physical appearance, getting attention from men. I just seen it too many times, man. And these women just look sad when they get older. And the same thing go for this dude, DJ Akademiks. And like I said, instead of him trying to find a decent young lady who has a good head on her shoulders, he's going to spend a few $1,000s to be with her. And and I think when you do stuff like that, you become kind of cynical and jaded about relationships. And so that it makes it harder for a man or a woman to be able to have stable relationships when you mess around and have these type of meaningless relationships, because then you think, well, all right, this is how all women are. All women just, they just want the soft life. There are no women out there who are who have any type of wisdom or anything like that. And so he's going to think for the rest of his life, that's what he's going to have to do, So yeah, that's my take on it. I just wanted to react to this this young lady's video. What's her name? Lakeisha Keisha. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave the link to her video in my description, so y'all can go check out the whole video. I didn't watch the whole thing because hers was pretty long, but yeah, this dude DJ Akademiks is losing out. Who's the young lady Daphne Joy? She's losing out. And 50 Cent, man, like I said, he can't be bitter about the situation. He just he got to watch the way he talk about her publicly, though. And so that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.